Let's go back to culture. Since our culture is basically pushes people, well, I don't push it, guides them to overeating and, consuming a little bit too much. What we can do is just kind of rethink how we offer food. What I like to do sometimes is you go to a restaurant, that serves burgers or something like that. You get a gourmet restaurant burger, that thing's pretty big. You get a side of fries, that can easily be shared by two people. You get your drink, each has your drink or where. I'm not saying go to a restaurant and be cheap, but I mean, you can get two burgers if you want, just cut them in half and ask for a to-go bag beforehand, like a little to-go box. Cut the burger in half, take out half the fries, set it aside. Don't pick at it, just leave it over there. Don't mess with it. Eat your food when you're done, you're done. Don't pick at it. As soon as the food comes, just, oh, should I get dessert, blah, 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 just ask for the check, wrap up your stuff, and take off. By the time you get home, do something, eat the other half of it. It's already there. I know it's not going to be as good because not a lot of people like reheated foods. With the French fries, I have a George Foreman, and you can put that in there. I think it tastes just the same, but that's just me. I mean, you can microwave the burger and then George Foreman it to crisp out the outsides, and I think that still tastes pretty good. People have learned to live to seek pleasure. If you end up seeking too much of it, then you become obese. You really can't enjoy yourself too much. And there was actually a study done. I'm not going to have like a references section, so I could just be making this entire thing up. They said something about not necessarily obese people, but people a little bit overweight are actually happier than people that are really fit. And I think one of the main reasons for that is just because they stress out about it too much. If you're constantly worried about your weight, that's all you think about, it's really kind of counterproductive. In regards to if you're trying to be healthy and lose weight to try to be healthy, but you're going to stress yourself out, so you're not going to be healthy because you're stressed. And people that are a little bit overweight, I'm not saying they're big, like huge or anything, but they just don't care because they're happy with who they are. They eat what they want. As long as it doesn't get out of control, then they're stress free. They get to eat what they want. Then they're happier, obviously. So it's really just a cultural thing. If we can teach ourselves to do these things and not worry about it, if it just comes kind of automatically, then you're not going to have that stress and you're going to have the lower weight. So it's going to be a double bonus. Also, fast food or restaurants or any kind of company like that, it's good that they get as much food to you out there as possible just because they're giving you, the value. But if a culture shift were to happen and menus were changed to where it's like you order something, I mean, obviously you can't go to a restaurant like 5-6 times a day. From my previous parts, that's what I was talking about, splitting your meals up. You can't really practically do that. So if you change the culture and the food industry to where when you go to a fast food restaurant, half of your order is something that you're going to eat right now, and the other half of your order is something you're going to eat later. But it's basically the same amount of food that you would have ordered before. You just would have eaten it all at the same time. So it's basically like half of it's to go already, and you don't even have to worry about setting it aside or anything like that. And you can mix and match, you do whatever you want, have to-go foods or with to-go foods. But yeah, there's lots of ways that the culture can change, that we can change our habits so that we're not worried about obesity and stuff like that, because gosh, I think smoking is the number one cause of preventable deaths, and I'm sure obesity related, like heart problems, diabetes, gosh, it's just not healthy to carry around all that weight. It hurts you physically, your bones, I'm not trying to say that it's bad or those people are bad. I mean, it's just the culture encourages it. The food that we produce is just so rich in these things that aren't really good for us. It's really, I'm not saying it's not their fault. I'm not trying to delegate blame to anyone, but it's so many different factors go into people being overweight that it's really not fair to blame any one thing directly. I think you'll realize from the course of these videos that I'm not really trying to blame anyone. I'm just trying to get everyone to learn from our past mistakes and the things that we've done before so that we can just make it better. I'm not trying to vilify anything or anybody, but there's always a better way to do something. If you guys can think of something better, I mean, that's cool too, but please share it. This is just happens to me, my little spiel about why I think it should be, or it could be, how it could help people. I know I almost started on physical fitness, but now I can finish that one up. So what I do, I try to do this every morning. Sometimes it doesn't really work out because I sleep in, because sleeping is fun. It's not fun, but it feels good, I guess, because you're tired. And I mean, who really wants to get out of bed? I don't know. I don't. I mean, obviously, at some point after like 12 hours or so, you're I got to go do something. I don't do that any days off, maybe, but I try every morning to get up and do a small amount of exercises. You know, like push-ups, sit-ups, stretches, pull-ups. You know, I have a little bar that I can do pull-ups on and ab straps so that I can do that, and it's really something that you can do at home. You can install it. You can do dips off your bed or off a smaller thing like your bathtub or something like that to work out your triceps or something like. But it's just you don't have to wake up and run like 2 miles every morning. You really don't. That's not necessary. I'm not knocking people for doing it. I mean, wow. To the people that can do that, I mean, respect. I can't. I do it every once in a while, but only when I'm gosh, if like summertime's rolling around and I want to go out to the pool or something like that, I might run in the morning for a week. And I have weights in my backyard too, but yeah, working out and building muscle is just way too expensive. So, but one thing that people don't realize is that you really need to pace yourself, do something that you're actually going to be able to do for a long time. And that's what another problem that people have with their workout routines is they're like, okay, I'm going to go on this diet and I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna work out so fucking hard. I'm gonna lose 1,000,000 pounds and this and that. And they get on this crazy fucking diet where they only eat beets or something, and they go to the gym and they just fucking rip themselves apart for fucking 5 hours or some shit. You're really just torturing yourself. One of the reasons why those things don't work in the long term is because they're too extreme. They're just way too extreme. You're mentally not gonna want to keep up with that. You're gonna mentally exhaust yourself. Obviously, you're going to be physically exhausted if you do those workouts, but and I'm not saying that kind of working out is bad. I mean, people, if you train, you know, if you an athlete or whatever it is, I'm not saying that's bad at all. I mean, good for you, but it's the people that are trying to do it for the reasons of just losing weight. You really need to set yourself up with attainable goals. With the splitting up your meals and exercising a small amount like every day, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to maintain in the long term, and therefore it just makes it a lot easier for you to lose weight. It might not be as effective in the short term, obviously, because you're not murdering yourself every day. It's really a longer lasting way to do things. Like I said, I try to work out in the mornings just to get the heart rate going and basically let your body know that it's needed. That's another thing. People sometimes wonder, it's like, oh, well, why are my muscles so small? And oh, this and that, and I need to just take steroids and all this other random stuff. And you really, if you want to maintain your muscle mass, it's really just a matter of letting your muscles know they're wanted. The only way to really do that is to just keep doing what you're doing. And if you're a bodybuilder or weightlifter, one of the problems that they have when they stop is that they just degenerate. They lose all their mass. And if they stop all at once, I mean, they can be flabby or something can happen, I don't know, like that it just complete shift in their body makeup just because they stopped working out because they didn't maintain it. But if you work out just a little bit every day, or maybe not every day, every other day would probably be better if you work out a little bit harder, just so your body can recover. But you're basically, when you work out, like I've said this like 8 times, I'm sorry, but you're basically just letting your muscles know that they're wanted and that they're needed. Muscles aren't just going to grow, which I'll get to later because that's pretty cool, but they're not just going to grow on their own. I mean, they should, obviously. Everyone should just be walking around ripped, right? That would be pretty awesome. You wouldn't have to work out or eat whatever you want. That'd be pretty freaking cool. There's this show called Stan Lee's Superhumans, and I don't know how popular it was because I only saw it on Netflix, and usually that stuff comes out like months and months after, and I didn't even start watching it right away. Like I saw it for a couple months before I even started watching it, and I was like, you know what? I like Stan Lee. I respect him. I'm gonna watch this. So, and I like superheroes and stuff. Pretty sure I said that before. In it, he kind of showcases people with extraordinary abilities. And one of the guys in it, I think he's from Texas, and he's basically showcased as like the world's strongest man, like pound for pound. Gosh, this guy is just amazing. He takes like frying pans and just like rolls them, like solid metal frying pans. And he ended up, gosh, his final test was like holding a motorcycle from driving away. And I don't remember what the pounds per square foot that he was pulling, but he kept it from going anywhere. But this guy, they ran some tests, and I think what they concluded was that he was basically able to activate his muscles for longer periods and better than anyone else, like pound for pound. So basically, he had the same amount of muscles. He isn't really like super powerful. He's just able to more fully utilize his muscles due to some sort of genetic abnormality. Not that he's a mutant or anything crazy like that, but I thought that was pretty interesting because a little while back, I read on the internet about this poor woman who had another abnormality to where she just grew muscles. I guess she went into the doctor. They just kind of they're like, "You need to just stop working out, lady." And she's like, "I don't go to the gym. I don't work out at all." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, right, right, right." So I guess at first they didn't really believe her. I mean, this woman, she's I wouldn't want to make her angry. I'm not gonna lie. She was pretty big. The way they found out that she wasn't lying to them is I guess they did x-rays or something and they found out that the muscles in her eye that control eye movement, they're not supposed to be bigger than a certain thing because you can't really work them out. I mean, it's not like she sits there and moves her eyes as fast as she can or like attaches weights to them or injects steroids directly into her eye muscles. So they really discovered that it was a genetic abnormality that affected all the muscles in her body, and they were all just growing. Oh, it's just like they all got the signal to just keep on keeping on. Usually that doesn't happen unless you're working out pretty heavily and they're recovering and they get the signal to build up because you're basically telling your body that you need them. Her switch was flipped to tell her body that she needed muscle when she really didn't. This is also I believe, a genetic abnormality. One of the exciting things, I don't think anybody out there has really put two and two together. Since both of these are genetic abnormalities, activating the muscles so that you use the muscles more efficiently and being able to grow them like spontaneously all over, if you could harness those two genetic abnormalities in the same person, as long as you were able to find a way to control it, like turn off the growth at a certain point, obviously, or maintain it at a certain level, you could just, I don't want to say create like super humans, but you kind of could, and it'd be pretty cool. And this is just kind of my rant at the end of this video because it's really only the chance I get in the only video that it kind of works into. But I think that would be amazing. I mean, not only would they have more muscles than anyone else and they'd barely ever have to work for it at all, but they'd also be able to activate them more efficiently, so they'd be much stronger. So I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of the Incredible Hulk kind of story, like a real life Incredible Hulk kind of thing, if you're actually able to do that. Minus the regeneration, because yeah. But I guess if you grew muscles, you'd be able to regenerate faster. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So someone should probably do that and then give me that formula. Just saying, because I thought of it. So get on that so that I can be super strong, okay? Dang it.